Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Nicodemus Kane. It is Saturday. It is August the 29th. It's about 11:13 p.m. We just got done watching Avengers Endgame. That was fun. That's such a good movie. It really is. Goosebumps all over the place. Um, I wanted to get on, make a quick video. I don't know if I will be making. That's something on my desk. Didn't know what it was. I didn't know if I'll be making one tomorrow or not because I may or may not be going to a family picnic. I don't know. We'll see. Not really a picnic. It's more like a cookout, whatever. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be going to that or not. And if I decide to stay here, then I'll be here and I'll record something. Maybe I doubt it, but you never know with me. Something may just pop into my head magically, and I have to get it out. But today, today the power of the internet kind of kicked me in the nuts. Very, very strange, very, very strange thing. So I woke up this morning and I got on Twitter like usual because it's what I do. I check Twitter before anything else. I used to check Facebook first, but of course Facebook is hideous now. And I've dropped pretty much all of my Facebook friends anyways. But I got on Twitter and the first thing I saw was all of the normie outlets talking about Chadwick, what's his name, Boseman? I can't remember his name exactly. The guy that played Black Panther. That's all I heard about because he passed away yesterday, I think, from colon cancer. Very tragic. Great actor. As we were watching Endgame, we were like, nobody's going to be able to play the Black Panther after this because he was too good. He's a good actor. I've seen him in other stuff too. Love the guy. And I think it's amazing. And it's sad. It really is. But then I saw everybody else was talking about the anti-lockdown protests that are going on. There was one in Berlin, if I remember right, it was actually threatened to be shut down, but apparently it went on anyways, that people actually stood up for their rights. There was one in Ottawa, if I remember, and then there was one in the UK. I saw images from Trafalgar Square, and I think that's in London. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on that? I don't know. And there was another one that was in what was the other park? Right outside of Parliament, if I remember right. I don't remember exactly where it was. But this was the big day. This was the big, anti-lockdown, protest day. That's what it was. That's what everybody kept saying. So I was like, that's nice. Everybody's talking about the death of, the Black Panther, and nobody's really talking about all this other stuff. And I kind of just did a surface search because I don't really go through too many, big news media outlets. I don't go looking unless I really need to look. And that's all anybody was talking about. Of course, they're talking about the riots and stuff that are going on here in America, whatever. But, I was like, of course, everybody's going to be talking about, Black Panther actor dying, but they're not going to talk about these protests. So I sent out a tweet. Go ahead and pull it up here so that we can see. I sent this out, and I didn't think, because my Twitter's nothing. And I put this on Facebook, too, for all 10 of my Facebook people. It's like the first picture is anti-lockdown rally. I love how I didn't do this right. Is anti-lockdown rally? Is an anti-lockdown rally in Trafalgar Square. That was this one. The first one. The second is a rally in Ottawa. The third is in Berlin. The fourth is what the mainstream media wants you to know about, which was the tragic death of Chadwick, whatever his name was. And then I said, choose your own path, wake up now, or die in your sleep. That's become the new kind of motto that I've kind of had within my mind. I was doing, stand up and fight, liberty or death and all that stuff. And those have kind of faded away, but now it's like, seriously, wake up now or die in your sleep, because that's where we're kind of heading to at this point. And so I put it up, and we went out and we did some things outside. We went and we got some lunch, took care of some bills, and did some shopping, some other things like that. And I come back and I look at my Twitter, like I got 12 notifications right now. I mean, this was just within past, 15 minutes that I've sat down. But I kind of looked at my, I got home. It was about 3 hours later, and my Twitter blew up. And I'm like, what is going on here? Let's see how it's done. 510, 760, and I'm like, what the hell happened? So I look, and somebody at the very, very beginning of this whole thing, like almost immediately after I posted it, whoever is following me on Twitter, if you watch these videos, somebody added me to Sky News TV, somebody added me at BBC News, and somebody added me at some other news that I can't remember what it was. I didn't do this. I don't have anything to do with it. I didn't even put a hashtag in this. I didn't put any ats in it. I just put it out there because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to go looking for this kind of stuff. If you find it, you find it. If you don't, you don't, because, it's out there, whatever. So somebody did that, and I haven't gotten too many bad things yet. I just going down the list. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Just kind of saying great photos. I've seen a lot of these. I've seen a lot of other stuff, and then it starts getting into weird stuff like this that they say. And I'm not even going to give it the time of day. But it starts getting into the fact that it was a black man that died. And I'm like, no, 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 no. No, this was not about that. I had somebody else, and I think that he was referring to the one that started the big riots that went down in Wisconsin, I think it was. Oh, look at my paint shop thing. Get out of here. You bother me. But it was about the guy that got shot in Wisconsin. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. I don't need to look at it anymore. And they were saying, well, it's either they're talking about him or they're talking about the guy that got shot. And somebody else chimed in about, oh, of course you're having to say something because it was about a black man, yada, yada, yada. And there was one that was directed at me where it said that I was confusing two black people. Okay. Okay, first of all, I don't get into that kind of stuff. I don't. The only time that we ever get on here and talk about that kind of stuff is whenever we say, it's happening. I have actually been a pro-black Israelites on this channel. I've said this many, many times that there is a pretty fair amount of evidence that they were the actual true Israelites of the Bible, and not only that they were in America before the white man came here. And before the brown-skinned Native Americans or Indians, whatever you want to call them, came here. I've said that several times. I don't know if I've ever actually come out and said it, but I mean, there's enough proof that that's a thing. There's enough documented cases of people that have written it down in different areas where they have said, that's weird. Angie's texting me. But where they have said, the Native Americans were dark skinned, where the Israelites left Israel black but came back white, where they talked about the places in Africa. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that works because I'm still trying to figure it all out. I'm not an expert in this. I'm just saying that when you hear it and when you read it, it just kind of it doesn't make sense. So you got to kind of put these things together. But they talk about the people that made it down into Africa, especially big pockets of people in Africa, are Hebrew. They have very, very what you would call ancient Hebrew rituals, the way that they act, all these things like that. But then of course, we do this whole thing where we look at the Hebrew artifacts that have been found in America and the whole thing, and then you get into the America being Egypt thing. I think I've talked about that. I may not have talked about that. I don't know. I might have written that down somewhere. We haven't gotten really gotten into that, but I've always said there's a case for it. There's things for it. So for someone to say that I was confusing two different pictures or two different black people and saying that's what people are pushing, that bugged me, man. And I was called what was I called? A racist something? What was it exactly? I'm not going to bring it up because, like I said, I'm not going to give the person the time of day. Let me see here. People, I just don't. It's just. Man. I don't understand why people are getting mad at me because I pointed it out that they're talking about that. Okay, it's fine. We can mourn this guy because he died. And like I said, I love the guy. I think he's a great actor. I'm sorry that he's passed away. It's really truly sad, but I think that we need to be talking about the other stuff a little bit more. I actually do. Because that has more, what's the word? What am I looking for? Jacob Blake. That's the guy's name. But I think that it has more come on, what's the word? Urgency that we have to talk about the protests right now. Yeah, here you go. You're just a clown who feels oppressed by a mask. you've not been racist on the post. You would have said the same about a white guy, probably. Yeah, you're right. I probably would have said something about a white guy, the same thing too, because it would have been a celebrity. They would have been pushing a celebrity death instead of pushing the protests, and that's all I was doing. All I was doing was saying that, hey, look, mainstream media is they're pushing the protests. Of course, then the guy got on to me about saying, well, they are putting on mainstream news. Let me tell you something right now. Okay, you can name a million different newspapers and say, oh yeah, look, see, they're covering it, or websites, whatever you want to say. Oh, hey, they're covering it. It's right there. It's plain to see. You can say that all day and night. But is my grandma watching that on the 6 o'clock news? Is my mom watching that on the 6 o'clock news? Is my father watching that on the 6 o'clock news? No, they're not going to be talking about the protests on the 6 o'clock news. What are they going to be talking about on the 6 o'clock news? Well, they're probably going to be talking about the COVID death count. And then they're going to be talking about the riots in Wisconsin. Then they're going to be talking about the guy that played Black Panther, Chadwick, whatever his name is. That's what they're going to be talking about. They're not going to be talking about the protests that have been happening, the anti-lockdown protests. And that's what I was trying to get at. I was trying to say, look, they're not going to be talking about this. They're going to make websites for this stuff. Those websites are not going to be the front page news on Facebook, on Twitter, because I know Twitter and Facebook, they have their own news sections where you can go see the news and it'll show you and it'll come down. I can get the news on my PlayStation if I wanted to. But that's not going to be the news. That's not going to be front page. Hey, look, by the way, we got riots and protests and no, protests, not the riots, protests. We got protests, anti-lockdown protests, and here's what they're saying. Here's what they have to say. Now, what you're going to be hearing about the protests is, hey, look, there were 1,000 people that were all standing out, not social distancing and not wearing the masks. That's the kind of crap you're going to hear. You're not going to hear anything else. On top of that, hey, by the way, we have an actor just died. A lot of people said, oh, well, it's just pure coincidence that he happened to die the same day. And, I can go up and down that rabbit hole all day. I know that I've said things about that kind of stuff where, nobody's death, nobody in Hollywood dies without a reason, and that's part of that whole thing. And you can say that all day. At the same time, it's like, I don't know what to say about it. What I said about it, though, was that, hey, look, they're doing this and not that. Nothing about it being black. Nothing about anything. What the hell? It hurt for a second. It really hurt for a second that I was called out for being racist. What was the other stuff? What else was I called? There was another name this guy called me. And I thought, what the hell? The particulars of the black person in the picture don't matter to racist. It's just an opportunity to spread their racist bile. Wow. Chadwick Boseman. That's his name. Chadwick Boseman. But yeah, that's what it was. Somebody added the BBC. Somebody added ITV News. What is ITV News? Biggest news and biggest stories from the UK around the world. And then, of course, Sky News. And that's the other one. They did all three of them there, too. And it just exploded. Just, oy. What was the name? The guy that said it might have been talking about, because there was another conversation that was going on. And then the guy got on to me because I was butting into the conversation. But I'm like, no, wait, yeah, he was talking. The other guy, you racist cockwomble. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I tried to keep my. I actually tried to keep my fingers down because So, anyways, it bugged me. I don't know what to think about it. It just kind of bugged me. And I put myself out there because I started off with this stupid ass dream of being a YouTube video gamer. And it turned into this because I was being directed into doing this. And that turned into, get the truth out no matter what the cost. And there you go. This is what happens. It comes and bites you in the ass. I keep doing it. I don't regret it. I just, when it came back on me like that so hard, I was like, why? Why are you pushing this as a race thing? It's not. It's not. Yes, very good actor died. He was young too. He was only at 43. I think that's what he said. 43, died of colon cancer. Apparently, he'd been fighting it for a couple years. That's sad. It's really sad, and we can mourn that. We really can. Unfortunately, right now, these lockdowns are a little bit more in our face. You know, I'm not worried about the second Black Panther movie. I'm worried about what the hell's going to happen whenever they lock down the world for a second time. That's what I'm worried about right now. What everybody should be worried about right now. But apparently nobody's worried about anything right now other than going to the store, wearing their mask, and being good little children. Because that's all I saw. That's all I saw out today. I didn't even go into a store. I didn't go into a store. Angie went into a store for me, and I hate doing that to her. But she went. She has a headband that she pulls down over her mouth. And I guess it works for her. It's real thin, you know. But I didn't get out of the car. I stayed in the car. But everybody I saw, and I saw so many of the guys that were driving around, the people, you know, the phenomenon that people have been talking about of the people that are driving around in their car with the windows up by themselves and they got their mask on. It's a real thing. And it's like I think a lot of it is you've just become so conditioned to wear it everywhere that you just forget that you have it on, and you just put it on, you leave it on, and it's absurd, man. It's absolutely absurd. And then the guy was like, you're just somebody that feels like you're being, what did I say, being stifled. I'm a clown that feels like I'm being prohibited by a mask or whatever it was. No, I said absolutely nothing about masks. I said anti-lockdowns, because that's where it starts. You know, you can open up the world and force everybody to wear masks, and it you know, at least we won't be going down the drain like we are. But that's not the case. We've made so many millions of people lose their jobs over nothing. People are starving. People are committing suicide. People are going crazy. People are killing each other because of this kind of stuff. And it's only getting worse. And they're shutting down food plants. There is a food shortage coming. I don't know what to tell you. We're already starting to see it in the grocery bill. Our grocery bills, we're buying less groceries and spending more money. We used to spend about $120 to $150 a week without the extra stuff like dog food and, you know, toiletries and all the crap. About $120 to $150. We got done today and it was $180 without dog food. And I said, what the hell's going on? Actually, I know what the hell's going on. I didn't have to say it, but I said it, you know, because it was what it was. Because everything's going up. Prices are going to go up. Everything's going to start disappearing. You need to get that through your head now. We have to start talking about what has happened. It's almost September, for God's sake. Somebody said something about Labor Day. I said Labor Day. That seems kind of pointless to me right now. You know, Labor Day. And Angie's talking about her Labor Day vacation. I'm like, Labor Day? Really? You either wake up now or you die in your sleep. That is all there is to it. If you don't believe in that message, then you're just not going to get it. I can't give it to you any better than that. I've made the videos. I put the one video together where they say they are lying about the numbers, where they say that if one person that tests positive walks into a room with 15 other people, they count that as 16 cases. Just for being in the room, it's 16 cases. I saw a thing the other day where it said that there were that it was possible that there was a nightclub or something, some kind of, I don't know what the hell it was, opened up, and there was like 120 people that were presumably infected, which means that's 120 cases. And that's what people are going on now. They're not going on deaths anymore. They're going because deaths have stopped. We've flattened the curve, kids. We flattened the curve, all right. Flatten the curve. That was actually interesting. Something that I was thinking about several months ago. Actually, it's several months. I can say several months now. Shit, several months. Whenever they said flatten the curve, and I was thinking about how that refers to or can be referred back to flat Earth. And I was thinking, when they reset everything, which they will be, when they reteach everybody what's going on, will they teach everybody that the Earth is flat? I'm just, just makes you think, man. It just makes you think. Done a lot of reflecting on a lot of things over the past month. Been having a lot of memories. And it's just, I don't know. I think I'm just losing my mind. I think it's just, when you can see, and I know I said this in the last video, that when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel is just a train coming straight at you. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And you can't seem to wake anybody else up. The amount of vitriol I got from people, just for that post today, just that kind of slapback where it's like, we're going to jump over what you said, and we're just going to call you every name in the book and not listen to anything you say. That kind of stuff. And what do you do with people like that? What do you do with that? Rosh Hashanah in a box. Hey, the thing Angie sent me was she asked me why she is getting Jewish ads probably on Facebook. Well, honey, that's probably because we celebrate the feasts. We celebrate the feasts of God. Because then you talk about it, Facebook's going to pick up on it. Your phones track you, kids. I don't know if anybody's told you that or not. Every single word. Proof that your phones track you, that know everything you do and say. Happened to me twice now. The first time was one of my supervisors at work actually lives close to me. I think he lives right down the street from me. I may have told this story. We were waiting outside of Meijer to get our food, to pick up our food, because we're not going inside and shopping. And so we were waiting outside, and while we were waiting, I saw him stroll by, and I stopped him, and we talked. We had a good conversation. And the next day, actually it was 2 days. I think it was 2 days later. The very first Facebook suggestion I had was him. Very first Facebook suggestion I had was him. As a friend, friend suggestion. And then, I think it was a couple weeks later, a friend of my stepdaughter, she came over to the house because my stepdaughter, she had to go into the hospital. She was having some problems. And she brought her back. She drove her over to our house so that she could stay at our house for a little while. And sure enough, 2 days later, she's top of my friend suggestions. And I'm like, I've never had any contact with this girl before ever. That was the first time I ever met her. I mean, I heard about her, but I didn't know anything about her. It was the first time I ever met her. Facebook suggesting her to me as the top friend suggestion because she was in my house, because our phones came into proximity of each other. Same with my supervisor. That's the way it works. Your phones track you everywhere you go. You're worried about contact tracing now. You're worried about being chipped and tracked wherever you go, whatever you do, as long as you keep that phone on you. But see, that's the thing. They don't want it to where you can just leave your phone at home, like I've been doing. They don't want it to where you can just leave your phone at home. They want a tracking thing on you everywhere you go. They want to be in control of how you get tracked. So how did we get off the conversation? I don't know. There is no conversation. We didn't really have a conversation. I just came on here just to talk because that's what we do. The only other thing, the only research or anything I did was to make a list of, just to kind of put it all in perspective. I made a list of just about everything that's been going on, the stuff that makes sense, the stuff that doesn't make sense. Of course, I have here, and it's kind of done from a top down, how all this stuff kind of connects. And I was going to do it in like a kind of, there's that video of the woman that says it's 2030. This is how we live. We don't own anything. When I leave, somebody uses my workspace as an office, that kind of crap. And I was kind of doing it like that, where I was going to be like, hey, look, it's 2030. We have to have mandatory this, mandatory that. Whenever a new flu comes in, they change our DNA, that kind of thing. And so I wrote it down in that kind of style, and I was going to script it out, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to script it out. That just sounds ridiculous. But it starts with mandatory masks, of course. And I got mandatory shots every year, because you think it's going to stop with one shot. These kids have to have 72 by the time they're 5. You think they're going to stop with one for you? No, every year you got to get that booster shot. They change your RNA. Of course, we've heard about that. That's common knowledge now. It's out in the mainstream. It has 5G towers everywhere. They upload the new cure to you. It's kind of like your virus software. You have to have updates. Of course, that all ties into the ID 2020, which, of course, old Billy the Kid Gates. That's something he's a part of, where everybody has to have a digital ID. Even the people that live out in the middle of butt nowhere that have never seen a computer in their entire lives, they have to have a digital ID because it's imperative. Unbelievable. And then, of course, it goes down to the ID 2020 has to do with smart houses. Smart houses, they because you have all this stuff in you, you have the ID 2020. The bullet point was under the ID 2020. Smart houses can lock you in if you're sick, because you have to wake up every day. And if whatever's inside of your body detects that you might be sick, they lock your house. There was a story about this several years back about these safe houses, these apartment building safe houses, that they were having problems with the houses locking the people in, and they couldn't get them open because the IDs weren't reading right. Something wasn't reading right. Smart houses. If your temperature is too high, they lock your ass in. Work will not let you in. It will not let you in the door. Your badge just will not work. My work, I get to work from home, so I'm really, really lucky. I'm counting my blessings on that every single day. Trust me. My work said, though, that you have to have an app now on your phone. Oh, fuck. You have to have an app now on your phone. And if if this app doesn't say that you're good enough to go into work, your badge will be shut off. People don't think it's in America. People just say, "Oh, hey, it's still in China. It's still no, it's here. It's everything is cashless. Cashless. Your money can be cut off if you break the rules. If you break the rules, your money can be cut off because you don't carry cash anymore. It's all inside of your body." Which is happening. They're slowly but surely making everything cashless. Coin shortage, my ass. Cash. There's a lot of places won't take cash anymore because cash can be can carry the vid. We have to have cameras and microphones mandatory in houses. Why? Well, it started with Alexa and the Google Home things, whatever the hell those are. It starts with those. But because they force masks everywhere, because they were talking about making them, a lot of countries that are talking about making them forced in houses, because that's where it is. We've already talked about the guy from the WHO that said the transmission starts in the houses. They have to, in order to make sure that you're wearing your mask, that you're good. Smart TVs, the cameras on your laptop, which is interesting. My boss at work, every time we do a Zoom call now for a meeting, she says, if you have a camera, do it, because I want to see your smiling little faces. And I'm like, you don't need to see my face. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, no, that's part of it. They want to see your face. They want to see if you're following the rules. Now we're not being forced to do it in the houses, but who's to say it won't? And how are they going to be able to do that? Cameras in the TVs, cameras in your houses, because they have to make sure you're following the rules. Because if you're not following the rules, then you could potentially make somebody sick. This isn't just some random conspiracy. This is stuff that's actually happening. They're talking about, what was the one I heard? They already have the microphones in your houses. They already have your microphones on your phone. These things pick up everything you say. I have my Siri turned off because every time I said, "Oh, seriously," Siri would pop up. So I have my Siri turned off, but it's still listening to me. I know it is. My laptop is listening to me right now because I'm talking into it. But it's still listening to every word I say because I still get ads all the time of whatever the hell we were talking about. So, we already have mics in our house. But people have these Alexa things. People have these, whatever, Google Home, whatever the hell they're called. It's not a step out of the ordinary to be able to put a camera on those, or to put a camera inside of your televisions, smart TVs. Every single thing that you own has a microphone on it now. Do you have a remote control for your TV that has a voice activation on it? Their houses, smart houses, have voice activation almost everywhere. Everywhere. If you have a thing that has voice activation, it's recording your voice 24/7. What it's doing. How do you think that works? Do you think it just magically turns on whenever you start talking or whenever you want something? No, it's listening to you constantly, waiting for you to say that specific word. And if it's listening to you constantly, it's recording you constantly. You may think that there's no way in the world for these things to be able to record everything you say, but with a Wi-Fi connection and with gigantic server farms that we know are out there that are 5 times bigger than a Walmart, they can record everything you say. It's all there is to it. Don't think this stuff's not out there. It's out there. It's real stuff. And it's entirely possible. Cameras and mics mandatory in houses because we got to make sure you're wearing your mandatory masks. It all starts with a mask because we got to make sure you're wearing it. If you're not wearing that, then we have to force you in some way, shape, or form. Put a camera in your house. Put a microphone in your house. Do whatever we have to because you're going to be living in a smart house where if you're not doing what we tell you to do, we'll just lock your ass in. Whatever. We'll just starve you out. Doesn't matter to us. 5G in 2020, detect your temperature. Because there's the patent that we did, what was it, the WO20, yeah, that's what it was. The WO060606 or 606060, I don't remember exactly what it was. The World Order 666. The one that it was the one where they said that we can I gotta look it up. I'm gonna lose my internet here soon, so I gotta do this quick. I'm probably wrong on that. Cryptocurrency system using body activity data. What was this called again? Did this have a name? Or no, the Trace Act had a name. But this, a human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of cryptocurrency system. Now, that doesn't have to be used just for a cryptocurrency system. What that is it detects body activity. It is some kind of sensor on you. ID 2020. Some kind of sensor on you, a shot, whatever, chip, whatever the hell they put inside of you, that can sense the activity of your body. So they know where you are, they know what you're doing, they know how you're moving, all this other kind of stuff. If they know that, they can detect your temperature. They can do a lot of things with this stuff. Sounds all science fiction-y and all that, but you know what? Science fiction, at this point, I think is 40 years behind what these guys actually have. 20 years. I'll give them 20 years. Probably 20 years behind what these guys actually have. And it's do you understand what I'm saying here? The crux of what I'm trying to say is that this stuff is there. It's stuff that has been put into place slowly but surely, over and over and over again. It's these little tiny baby steps, these little puzzle pieces that are slowly starting to come together. That all this stuff, and I'm not joking with this. This mandatory mask, mandatory the shots. The shots have the stuff inside of it that the 5G can do. That can change whatever it wants to inside of you. That goes along with the ID 2020. That controls your life. That gives you or gives them the ability to track you, trace you, do whatever they want to with you, put you into a smart house that can lock the doors on you, that can take away your job, that can take away your cash. You have to have a camera or a microphone in there to be able to make sure you're wearing that damn mask, so you're being filmed 24/7. Plus this patent on this 060606 that can detect your body activity inside of your house that you're going to be locked in, that can detect your temperature and all the other crap like that. It's out there. It's all stuff that they've been talking about for the past 20 years. Some of it even further back, but it's been 20 years of this stuff. And it's there. And it's why I wrote it down on this paper, because I had to sit back and think, what are the steps? What are the steps? What is living in the world going to be like in 2030, the way they want it to, where they section everybody off into these big giant cities with these stacking packs, because everybody's going to be living these smart city stacking packs, where you either live in this place and you work right down the street. I just lost my camera. You either live in this place and you work right down the street, where you can either take a bike to that you don't own, or you can walk to, or you work from home. They're making it to where people can just work from home. They can keep us in our cages now. Keep us in our cages and just fry our brain from here. And this is all part of it. It's slowly coming into it. I can't. I just lost my internet. It's all right though, because we're still going. I can still record on it. I just can't look anything up. But it's all there, you know. It's all there. It's all one big jumbled mess of nothing. And I put it together. I put it together here. We live in bubble cities, which is a thing now. They're starting to talk about bubble cities. It was something I have read where they're talking about making bubbled cities that they can clean the air out of so that nothing can get into it. A sterile city. A sterile city, like a biodome. A sterile city where the COVID can't get into it and it can't hurt you. It is patently absurd. Bubble cities where all debauchery is allowed, because anything and everything is possible in the bubble city. We will give you every bread and circus you will ever want, every kind of sex you ever want to have, every kind of food you ever want to have, every kind of this, every kind of that. Anything and everything goes as long as you follow our rules and make sure that you do what we tell you. As long as you make sure you wear that mask. We're going to have birth tube babies. That's what they're going to have, because if you're going to be able to have all the debauchery you ever want, you're not going to have to worry about making babies. The only thing that deters people from going out and having constant sex everywhere and everyone they want to have is pregnancy. That's the truth. That's been taken away. You got birth control, you got abortion. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Hell, we'll just make you sterile. We'll make it to where everybody's sterile so they can do whatever they want to. And it's very interesting whenever you hear about the stuff. What is it? I used to know it. I used to know it. I can't think of it now. The stuff that turns the frogs into different sexes. Can you see it though? Can you see it like 10, 20 years where everybody's kind of like, nobody can really have children, and they're just kind of taught that, well, just people don't just have children. We have to grow children. That's how we make new children. Like, well, I'll get to that in a second. And rations. Everybody's on their rations because, everybody's just kind of living in their own little world, and they can just have all the food they want to. It's not real food. It's all 3D printed food, or, it's some kind of non-meat, soylent non-meat. Because of the sick and disgusting absurdity of it, I got a feeling that they're just going to be eating each other. There's going to be some kind of a transfer system. So let's put it all together. It's Logan's Run, living inside of a bubble with all debauchery possible, test tube babies, whatever, mixed with Soylent Green, where they recycle the people. Carousel is probably going to be a thing where they go up in the air and they just recycle everybody. With 1984, where they have to spy on you at all times and you have to do what they say. Mixed with, what was it, Brave New World, where everybody is just debaucherous on drugs and they're all coked out of their minds and they don't know any better. Probably mixed with Fahrenheit, whatever the name it was, 450, I can't remember the name of it. Fahrenheit, whatever, where they're burning the books, where you can't have any information. And mixed with something else. Mixed with Demolition Man, where everybody's got to be all nice to each other. It's every dystopian movie ever made mixed together into one nightmare hell. And there will be robots. I didn't even finish this. There will be robot cops, which is what they're talking about. Defund the police? What are you going to defund the police with? You're going to bring in the stormtroopers from the UN who are going to be from out of the country, which don't have the same values that you do. They're not going to know what it's like to live in America, to have American values. They're going to do what their higher ups in the UN tell you. And then those are going to be replaced with robot cops. They've already got robot dogs walking around China, barking at people, yelling at people to distance themselves. You've got drones. You've got drones flying around everywhere, and you have a lot of places that are starting to talk about actual robocops, about actual robotic cops that go around and keep the peace. So you can stir RoboCop in there. It's every dystopian future movie ever made. And it's probably Mad Max on the outskirts, you know? I mean, it's throw Judge Dredd in there too, where the robot cops are judge, jury, and executioner. And it's not fake. It's all real stuff they've talked about. Every single bit of it. And what's worse is that it's every single bit of it I've heard within the past 5-6 months. Like, we need to reset the world. Hey, we got some ideas. You know, you've only been watching these movies for the past 50 years, but we're going to make them all real. Every single one of them. We're not going to make the good movies real. We're going to make the bad movies real. You get it yet? You get it yet? Do you understand? I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I don't know how else to put it in any more coherent form than that, because that's just the way I saw it. And like I said, every single bit of this came from some news, something or other that I heard from somewhere else. You know, just random stuff that has just been popping up slowly but surely and has been coming together. And the more I hear, the more I can put it to a movie that I've seen. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I don't believe in coincidences enough to the point that I don't believe that how do I want to put this? I don't believe that it's just a random coincidence that I was meant to watch all of the movies that I ever watched. You know, Logan's Run, Westworld, 1984, Demolition Man. I know a lot of people have seen them. You know, a lot of other people have seen the same movies I have. But I mean, I is it just me that I'm putting it together like this? I don't know. I'm probably not. I can't be the only person. I have no original ideas in my life. Even for the original ideas I think I do have, I don't. You know, they're not mine. But I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm sitting here telling you this like this, because I mean, it's just, it's all there. It's all there in some way, shape, or form, putting it together. Soylent Green, there's another one, you know, that it's one thing after another, and it's just puzzle pieces. It's just bam, bam, bam. You know, this is like a blueprint. Blueprint for no, come on. So there you go. I don't have anything else to say other than it's just, You either wake up now or you die in your sleep, because there's nowhere else to go from here. Where do we go from here? What are we doing? Where are we going from here? Are we going to just keep letting it happen? So when it leads back to the Twitter post that I said, this is what is happening, this is what people are covering, it has nothing to do with some black actor dying. It has everything to do with what you're not hearing. And you're not hearing that people are fighting something that they believe is coming. Because it's coming. And unless you wake up and stop it now, it's just going to steamroll you right over. I don't know what else to say. I don't. It is every dystopian future movie ever made, all rolled up into one big shitbag. And it's... They've been talking about it for years. I will... I've heard more times over the past couple months, oh, well, they've only been saying this stuff for, such and such amount of years, and it hasn't come up yet, so it's not going to happen, so you don't need to worry about it. I don't know how many times I've heard that, and it's like, they've been telling you this for such and such amount of years, and nobody's listened to it yet. And now we're here, and you're still not listening to it because you think it's all just some kind of joke. And it's not a joke anymore. This is real. This is something, it's almost literally right on our doorstep. And we need to do something here. It's time. It's time. I've already said before, I don't think peaceful protests are going to work. Maybe they will. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the next week. See if people actually wake up. I doubt it. You know why there were no protests in America today? Because people were protesting the wrong thing. Because all you people in America got distracted by somebody else getting killed. And then you got distracted by the riots that came from it. Then you got distracted by the guy that was shooting somebody in the street. And now you've got these big ass protests. And it's just... And that whole thing in the street with the guy shooting the dude's arm, oh, man, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. I saw the one angle where the dude is running up on him and he's got a gun and he's running up on him, and the kid on the ground shoots up at him, and you see the discharge from the gun, you see a puff of smoke, and you see the guy's arm, and there's nothing. You go like 2 or 3 frames later and the guy's arm is still there. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is literally not what I see in another video. Another video, the guy comes over and he looks at his arm, and it's like from here around, like this whole chunk is just gone. Just poof. And there's no blood. I mean, isn't there like a main artery or something that flows through here, or is it down this way? I don't know where it was, but he must have missed the artery. Either that or it all, I don't know. But, I mean, shouldn't it just be have movies lied to us that much? What all the tales of the guys from Vietnam and things like that. They talk about a buddy of theirs took a bullet through the arm, and it was just splurting blood. All those tales, is that a lie? All the tales that we got from World War II, where they took a shot or something, and it just is that I mean, really, is that a lie? I don't know, because I figured if somebody got shot by that close in that close of a range by a gun like that, if it would have popped, I mean, we should have. The way I put it, the best way I put it was, if we would have seen that kind of shot from that, wouldn't we be able to see JFK like brains exploding everywhere. I don't see that in the video. I see a puff of smoke. Did he shoot the guy twice? Because when the guy pulls his arm back and he puts his hand down and he runs, what I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that's like, well, no, we've got another picture of the video where you can clearly see it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shit's weird. I don't know. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm done. I'm done. My brain is fried. I don't know what to say anymore. You're being distracted. You're being distracted. You're not getting the full truth. If you're not telling your friends now that they need to stop just going along with it and wake up and do their own research, find out what's going on. If you're not telling your friends, you're not telling your family, then that blood is on your hands, because I'm having a problem telling my family because my family just won't listen to it. It's very hard to get them to understand anything. Of course, they think I'm crazy anyways, because I've been doing this for 10 years now. Where I'll say, well, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. And they just look at me like, oh, well, it's just you, man. You're just conspiracy theorist. It's, don't worry about it. It'll work out in the end. Okay. I just did the list for you. That's your future. That's your kids' future. That's your grandchildren's future. What that is. I don't know what else to say. I will say this before I go. And I've said it before, that no matter what you believe, where you go, what you do, that if you need help in any way, shape, or form, you can always reach out for Jesus. He will be there. He has patience beyond patience. I've talked about this. He waited 40 years to open my eyes. 40 years. And I did some despicable shit. And I still feel like I cannot be forgiven for that stuff. But every day that I ask him for forgiveness, and every day that I sit there at the table with the Bible in front of me, and I pray and I say, God, just forgive me. I am so sorry. Every day he shows me something new, gives me some new snippet of information, because I have only ever asked for the three things. Just to forgive me, give me the knowledge, and then help me spread it to other people. Help me try to save one person. If I can just save one, I will feel like I did something. He is out there. If you are so far down that you can't find a way up, just talk to him. Just talk to him. That's all you gotta do. I'm not gonna tell you to say some prayer. There's a lot of people that will say you've got to say some prayer. You got to say, please Jesus Christ, accept me, and yada yada. I'm not going to tell you got to do that. You can if you want to. I've said it several times in my life. The first several times I said it, I didn't believe it. I just happened to be with somebody and I needed to have a moment of clarity. Maybe it did. I don't know, because it helped me get to this point. But when it was time, when he really showed me, when he really cracked me in half and said, now it's time for you to wake up, that was when I just stopped and I said, please, Jesus, help me. Please come into my heart and change this. And he did. We just talked about this today. Angie and I did, because we were talking about our grandbaby. How wonderful and terrific it is to have her around, because she is absolutely special. Absolutely special. And I told Angie, I said, just a couple of days ago, I thanked God for letting me be a part of her life. because when she was born, I was not getting along with Angie's daughter at all. I was not. We were butting heads so bad. I was yelling at her. I had a completely different heart, an evil heart. It was not a good place. And Angie said, Angie said that if I hadn't changed, that she was going to have to make the choice between me and her daughter. And I said, if I hadn't been woke up when I did, if it was 3 months later, I might not be here. I got woke up right whenever I needed to, and I just remember the one day. I just remember the one day that I was kind of avoiding her daughter, and I kind of came upstairs and Angie had the baby, and I think she wasn't even one yet. She's just a little tiny thing, and Angie was like, do you want to meet her?" And she was just kind of sitting there, and I just kind of kneeled down, and I was just like, hey, to the baby, and the baby just gave me that look, and it was something happened, something changed, and I I owe that and attribute that to God changing my heart, to Christ coming in and changing my heart over that entire 5 to 6 month span that Angie's daughter had run away from us, because she left the house. She was living with us, and we were butting heads a lot. And then she went to live with her grandmother, and that was when everything started changing. That was when it got into my head. You need to start really understanding that this is real, and that's whenever I started, popping on the flat Earth and the giants and the yada 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 and all of that. And that was whenever it changed. That's whenever I found out there is something different. It's everything we've been taught is a lie, and there's something else better. And it changed me. It really did. And I'm here. And that can happen for you too. And that's why I started doing these videos the way I do it, talking about the things I do, because I said, if I can just reach that one person the way that I was reached, for the certain things that I was reached with, that maybe I can save that one person, And I said, if I got to stand in judgment at the end of all this, and if I am told that I am not worthy, then I have to stop and ask, did I at least save one? That's all I want, just to save one. Because somebody else that is more worthy than me deserves to have whatever is on the back end of this. Because there's a lot of people out there that just don't understand. They just don't know. That's the way I understand that we have to pray for our enemies, because they don't know. They don't know any better. They really don't know any better. They're just going along with their heart, and they're believing the lie because they don't know any better. And you have to tell them. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you guys. So if you ever need it, if you ever really truly need it, He'll listen. Christ will listen to you. Just sit down and talk to Him. You don't have to pray. You don't have to do a whatever. You don't have to, burn some incense and all that. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to sit down and talk. Just talk. Don't do it in front of anybody. Go into your prayer closet by yourself. What the book says. do it by yourself. If you want to pray with other people, pray with other people. That's fine. But if you want to talk, like really have that one-on-one, just talk. Just let it out. That's all I got to say. His patience is eternal. Believe me. Like I said, some of the things that I've done in my life, I am surprised. But he waited until just the right time to snap me out of it. Here I am. We covered a lot of subjects here, didn't we? I'm going to have a field day trying to find a title for this one. Holy smokes. Yeah. I got to say what I wanted to say, so I don't have to make a video tomorrow. So, I can do whatever I want to. I can either go enjoy family cookout, where one of them will be wearing a mask, or I could stay here. I don't know. I don't know. You guys take it easy. God bless you guys. If you don't wake up now, you're going to die in your sleep. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that. Because it's true at this point. It's true. It's all coming. It's all coming. Nothing I said here is something that was, maybe one thing might have been off the top of my head. I don't know. I doubt it. Everything I've said here has been something that I've found somewhere on the internet. Go find it. Go find it. I'm not here to hold your hand. You want to go find it? Go find it. Google is your friend. In the time of instant information access, ignorance is self-inflicted. That's an Angie quote. You can quote her directly. She said that the first time, and I was like, damn, that's cold. That's brutal. Ignorance is self-inflicted. All right, guys. I shall see you later. Take it easy and try to wake everybody up. Do whatever you can. Wake them all up. All right. See you guys later.